Hey, what's up family? It is your boy Fully Matic and I'm back with another video. Today's video is going to be on the Philadelphia 76ers and their series with the Toronto Raptors. It will also include whether or not the process should continue if they do lose this series and so they go home early. They don't even get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and if they don't get to the Eastern Conference Finals, obviously they don't get to the finals. So this will be basically the third year that they've been struggling. And, Joe has an injury problem, but I don't think that is the true problem of them getting over the hump. Now, they have a whole ton of pieces. They have a closer in Jimmy Butler. They have LeBron James Jr. and Ben Simmons. And they have a true center in Joel Embiid who does play the current NBA game of shooting threes, but he only shoots about 20%. So let's get in the paint and talk some more on it.
Becoming the elite player that he's become defensively. Would you explain what determined to get Ben going against a good defender here in Young? The plunge by Embiid.
Alright, so like I was talking about, this series, Toronto won the first game and then they fell back, lost two, and then they have won again these last two games. Last night, the Philadelphia 76ers got beat soundly, very soundly, and you could see at the end of the game, Joel Embiid was distraught and he seemed stressed out. The other thing was he was throwing a bunch of bad passes. There are at least two that I found in the game, and then you got Drake mocking you, everything like that, and they looked really bad and hard to overcome this deficit that they're in right now, because they got to win 2 games in a row, or at least they got to win 2 games in a row. If they don't win 2 games in a row, they're out of the playoffs. And so it's really asking yourself, should you start the process over, and or should the process go somewhere else? When I say the process, I really look at it as Joel Embiid, because he was the one to really start the process. I would say there are 2 things going on right now with the Philadelphia 76ers. One, Ben Simmons, he can really only score from inside, and that's about it. Joel, he can score from the outside, he can take you down to the post, but when you have your 2 primary players basically in the paint, it's hard to get spacing. Now, they do have people that can space the ball, but one, Jimmy Butler, he can hit the 3, but he's not a post-up shooter. Tobias Harris, he's a post-up shooter. He can dribble, everything like that. And then J.J. Redick can get his own shot, but he is a post-up shooter. So they do have some shooting, but not everyone is a post-up shooter. If you were to run like a LeBron James offense where you have one person handling the ball or 2 people handling the ball, and you're just dishing it off for threes, or, you're 2 so somebody can drive and just get the layup. That's what the 76ers, I feel, as if their struggle is, because in the middle, it's like, yeah, Joel Embiid can pass off to anybody, they can drive and everything like that. But if you're not creating enough offense, or if you can't go to a certain set where you can get, your threes, definitely, I'm not saying that they don't hit threes at all. It's just, I feel as if they're clogging up the paint. And so, one, maybe they don't need to break up the process, but they can make sure that and they can ensure that they can get buckets from the mid-range and or get buckets from the outside. One thing, yes, Ben Simmons needs to come harder with his shot, his actual jumper, driving off of the jumper, everything like that. And then Joel, maybe you do cut the threes down and just pound people in the paint and get fouled so you get to the line. You're a great free throw shooter, and so why can't you do that? The other thing I do want to comment on, over these 5 games, Joel Embiid has not yet hit, or he hit 10 rebounds only one time. He got a double-double one time. And he had over 30 points one time. Let me give you the stats right now. So game 1 for Joel, 16 points. Game 2, 12 points. Game 3, he came out, had 33 points, 10 rebounds. Game 4, 11 points. And then game 5, 13 points. I don't think you're winning it. I don't think you're winning the championship with those numbers. In the semi-conference, series, the semifinal of your conference series. How can you really expect to win a championship when those are the numbers your star player is producing? He has one game where he had a double double, and when I talk about having a double double, it's not like he could have had 10 and 10 with the 16 points, 10 rebounds, but he only had on those other games that he didn't get the 10 rebounds. It was only like 6 rebounds, and you're a center. Yes, the game has changed and everything like that, but I just feel as if yes, and it's asking a lot for a person that already does a whole bunch, but at this point in time, the process, you just need to do better. I don't know how they can, critique their team or make changes. It seems like they made changes from game 1 to game 2 and game 3, but then Toronto's flipped the script and made their own changes. And so how is the process really gonna get over this hump of basically losing in the playoffs? It's at this point in time, I'm the type of person, yes, I can say things on a regular season, but at a point in time, the NBA comes down to, can you win in the playoffs? Can you have a breakout season and get to the playoffs? And sooner or later, if that process doesn't continue to work as far as getting you farther and farther into the playoffs, you got to switch things up. You got to, do something to make yourself a better team. And the Philadelphia 76ers, is not like they haven't done that. Like I said, they got Jimmy Butler, they got Tobias Harris, they got Boban, they got TJ McConnell, they got Greg Monroe, they got Ben Simmons. I mean, they got JJ Redick. They have a lot of key pieces, and it's just like last year in the playoffs, they got swept. This year, yes, they won 2 games, but they look bad. And this is later in the playoffs, not early in the playoffs. It's getting later and later, and they look really bad against Toronto. And big ups to Toronto, dude. They're playing really well now. And Kawhi, if you are watching this, you have to know about Kawhi Leonard. If you don't know about Kawhi Leonard, please Google him. And so that's my little take on just Joel Embiid and the 76ers right now. As far as them getting rid of Joel Embiid or switching things up, I'm not trying to say like, yeah, get rid of them if they lose, but it is reevaluating what you want to do. Are you going to just continue with the same team? I mean, what pieces are you going to move around and say, oh, well, this did not work and it hasn't worked for the last 2 years, so how can we get a little better? Should we add some pure shooters, some pure sharpshooters? Should we add another big player? Should the process go somewhere else? And that's one of the reasons why I do have a title like this, and I wanted to, make this video. Is like, should you break up the process? Joel Embiid is a great player, and it's like, why would you get rid of him? But if something isn't working, and if you're doing something and you're getting the same results over and over again without changing something, what is that? The pure definition of insanity. And so, are the 76ers insane? I think not, but I hope that they can figure it out and step things up a little bit. I was happy to see the process, but now it's like, okay, the process. What are you doing? What do you get into? So let's see what happens. I don't know. I feel as if it's over. It's 3-2, so they gotta, come hard, do something crazy. But we will see what happens. Alright guys, that was my take. Now I got my man Mike with me to give you his take on the Philadelphia 76ers and whether or not they should break up the process.
So I wanted to talk about the impact that Joel Embiid has on the Philadelphia 76ers and whether or not, if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals and they lose, and or if they don't get to the Eastern Conference Finals, do you think they should break up the process as far as the team Philadelphia has right now?
I think it would be way too soon to break up the entire process. You still have Joel Embiid, who's still young, Ben Simmons, who's still young, still evolving. An Eastern Conference that, depending on what happens in Toronto with Kawhi Leonard, could get a little weaker.
Okay.
So I definitely think that, you should hold on for 2, maybe 3 years, depending on what happens with Jimmy Butler.
So just to pause you real quick, you saying that you think Kawhi is not gonna be on the Raptors next year?
I personally believe he'll be in one of the LA teams, somewhere in the California region.
Okay.
So I think that will definitely have an effect on the Sixers and what else happens in the East. So to get rid of Embiid, who, once again, if he gets 2 or 3 post moves, he'll be maybe one of the most unstoppable players in the NBA. And I think it would be hard to give up on that.
And if he doesn't shoot 20% from the 3.
And if he stills on the 3-point, Ben Simmons picks up on the 3-point, you have maybe the best starting 5 in the Eastern Conference.
That's bold. I'll say that's bold. Just because of what Milwaukee is doing right now.
Yes.
But I feel it, and I appreciate the opinion, my brother. Again, Michael Blunt. And we out. Fully. Yeah.
Alright guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you are enjoying these playoffs. Keep watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. And Fully will be back with you for the next one. Peace.